Hi, my name is Molly Sommerhalder, and I'm a certified wellness coach through the International Association of Wellness Professionals and certified yoga teacher. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate 6 yoga poses that you can do to help amp up your women's health. And so I love using yoga as a way to kind of get things flowing and moving in my body. And I also like to teach this to my clients and students as well to help get those hormones flowing if we feel like we're imbalanced in them, as well as it's helpful for things like prolapse, incontinence, where we have to go to the bathroom quite a bit or we feel like that need to, as well as if we've had a hysterectomy or recovering from having a child, whatever it might be. This space is a space that takes a lot of compression during the day. And we have to be flexible in it as well as strong. And so there's some key movements that I'm going to share that's going to help kind of build those two things. So when we're sitting all day long, it doesn't help that. So coming onto our back, one of the first things that we can do is bend through the knees, place the feet onto the earth, and create a nice long spine here. And so we just tilt back and forth. We inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale and curve that spine. So we just draw it and lengthen it here, and then release. And you can just do this a few times. You can also add in the arms. So we inhale, lengthen the spine, bring the arms overhead, and then exhale and curve the spine and bring the hands down. So just moving forward and back. You can also lift up the hips as you inhale, and then exhale and drop them back. And so just finding these movements starts to open up that front of the body, starts to gently open up that space, as well as create strength in those glute muscles and into that front of our body. Another pose that's really nice to do from here is bridge pose. So bringing those fingertips to touch those heels, place those feet onto the earth, and then you can lift the hips up, open the front of the body. You can stay right here, or you can roll the shoulder blades underneath you, clasp the hands, bring those pinkies to touch into the earth, lengthen through that spine, that neck, finding the pressure on the back of the head and those shoulders, not the neck, and making sure to keep that gaze up towards the sky. And then the final one on our back here that I like to do is work into the transverse abdominal muscles. So this area is kind of like the girdle that holds us all together. So it kind of needs to be strong because it helps us with our posture, it helps us with our low back. It also helps keep that pelvic floor, that strength and flexibility. So we place the hands to the sides, we lift the legs up to a 90-degree angle, and then again contract and bring that low back into the mat. So you're going to feel that abs start to kick in. And then we start to bring that left foot down, and you can keep it up high or you can hover it off the floor. And then you want to really lengthen through the legs and draw that low back onto the earth, and then hold that for a few breaths, and then you just switch. And so you can do this a few times, but really activating that core. And then some seated poses that we can do, the same kind of concept that we did on our back, we can do that seated. So if being on your back is too much, you can inhale, draw those shoulder blades together and come into a seated cow pose. And then exhale, arch the spine and come into a seated cat. And so we just move forward and back, really good for neck and shoulder tightness as well. But again, it just gets that movement flowing after sitting for long periods of time. You can also find little circles moving one direction, and you can move them bigger from here. And then you can go the opposite direction and start small and go bigger. You can even do that forward and back, just gentle. So a lot of movements here seated to get that pelvic area starting to flow a little bit. And then a nice way, if you want to get those hormones flowing and you feel an imbalance, doing twists is nice because it helps with digestion, but it also helps get things in the lower body kind of flowing up and moving up to the top of the body. So we kind of live up in this space a lot, so we want to get that lower space up and moving through in the energetic system. So you can always twist towards the right, or if you want to bring that left leg out, cross that right leg over and twist here. And do this for a few breaths, breathing in and out of the nose. Always remembering to breathe in all these poses. Doing them for as long as you'd like, whatever works for you. And again, you can bring opposite foot forward and twist towards the other way. Or you can bring left leg over and twist. And again, holding and breathing here. And then coming back to center. The final pose that I absolutely love to do, and it can be a little bit of a challenge to do for most people, but I love doing a squat. Squats are really good to realign the spine, especially if we've been traveling or sitting for long periods of time. Again, we feel that compression, and so we want to lengthen through that spine, and our squats allow that in that space. It also puts a little pressure, again, into where the ovaries are, so it kind of gets things flowing and moving. So I like to use a blanket. If you have a blanket at home, you can certainly use this. But I like to bring my heels onto the blanket, bring the toes out, heels in, and even if you're just here, even if this is your squat variation, just stay here for a few breaths. But eventually we want to come all the way down to the floor. And you would press those arms into the legs to open up that chest and bring those hands to center. And again, holding it here, you'll feel that release down. Now, if you suffer from something like prolapse, this is not something that you want to do because it's going to feel like the bottom is already dropping out, and this squat's going to do the same thing. So you really want to work on building things, drawing them in and up, doing more inversions. So doing things like the transverse abdominal muscle move is going to be key for something like prolapse. Incontinence, this will help kind of, again, bring things out. So if you want to build more strength, the transverse abdominal muscles are really key as well. And so again, holding that for a few breaths, releasing here. So those are some key poses that I like to share with my clients that can help them really get things moving and flowing again, and also help with certain pelvic floor conditions. And so keeping this space happy and healthy is going to help with low back. It also helps keep things moving and flowing in the hips, and also strengthen things like the inner thighs and the glutes. So to see more yoga tips from me, visit me at slwellness.info.